out of any country in the world, I think there's more reason for people in Hong Kong to look at PropTech.
Today on Denzity Insights, we welcome another experienced figure from the Hong Kong PropTech Association, James Kwan, Executive Chairman of Jumpstart Media. He'll give us his take on investing in PropTech startups, integrating innovation into your business, and how PropTech is going to shape the future. Also, don't hesitate to hit like and subscribe because there's much more to come.
Hey James, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Darren.
Because there's actually a lot of questions I didn't want to ask you in a private setting, right? And then because you've seen so many different startups through Jumpstart and other businesses that you have.
Yes.
One thing that a lot of people always ask is that what's the difference between PropTech and other techs, like for example, let's say FinTech, InsuranceTech. For you, what is your take on this?
Yeah, so I could give you a take specifically for Hong Kong. Obviously, you know that FinTech is king, but I think PropTech is going to be the next big thing happening in Hong Kong in terms of developing its own personality, its own space. In Hong Kong, it makes sense for PropTech to rise up, especially where property prices are, how hands-on a lot of the property developers are when it comes to maintaining their assets.
I see. So in your perspective, right, a lot of investors will always ask us that, okay, if you're looking into a PropTech startup, what should I look for? What should I think that is different when looking to other startups? So in your perspective, right, what are some tips that you can give to them? And also is that, how do you feel that they should look into more when it comes to PropTech startups?
I think investing into property tech, the sectors, is a very new thing. A lot of people haven't thought of that portion of their portfolio to include property as much in the past compared to, let's say, health tech or fintech, Web3, AR, VR. These are the ones that come up first in investors' minds. But I think these days, people also recognize that PropTech is going to be a significant part of growth in the tech area. When you look at who's backing it, it's all the big real estate developers, it's property owners, asset managers. I think these are the guys that are going to look for a change coming up in the future. So how I would recommend investors to look at it is they should possibly align themselves with organizations such as Hong Kong PropTech Association. I'm not plugging them because I'm on the board, but I'm saying this for any investor in any city. Go and look for the local associations, talk to them, understand what they could do and provide for the investors. So for example, here in Hong Kong, we have an investment committee. And the investment committee solely works with people who want to invest into startups. They join as a member, and the committee works for you to make your portfolio in PropTech stronger.
I see. That's a perfect segue, because I always want to know that, why have you decided to join Hong Kong PropTech Association? And then to you is that, what is your role and what you envision that your involvement can help the association and the ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, it was a unique opportunity only because I know Vivian, and Vivian was launching the Hong Kong PropTech Association. She asked me how I wanted to be involved. Obviously, I don't have a deep property background, but what I did bring to the table is I have a deep knowledge in the startup communities globally. So when we talk about startups around the world, we have access where a lot of different players here in Hong Kong wouldn't normally have. We have a media company that reaches out to 11 countries, 39 cities. But beyond that, we're also partners at 125 global events in my day job. So for that, we have a wide community. We have a network of investors. We have a network of events, ecosystem players, innovators in all these different countries, continents. And I think that's what we could bring to the table. Bring different outlooks, bring different perspectives of how smart city or PropTech could be developed, bring it back to Hong Kong and integrate that with the Hong Kong PropTech Association teams.
I see. I want to know too, because I think a lot of people that interested in the investment committee, and I wanted to know if you had tell any, let's say, corporate members or individual members, why should they join the investment committees for HKPTA?
Yeah, so in terms of the investment membership, it's different from the general membership for the Hong Kong PropTech Association. This is more geared towards people who know and they're firm in their mind that this is a part of the PropTech Association they want to be in. They're looking for investments. Possibly if they were a property owner or developer, they know that they have to integrate innovation into their business units to get to the next level. These forward-thinking persons are the prime people to join the investment membership. I think they can see it two ways. We have a POC committee, we have an investment committee. To me, I see that a lot of these are going to be working hand in hand because a lot of these investors want to come in not just as a pure investor, stand in the sideline and watch these startups grow. They want to see how these startups could also be integrated into their business units. And instead of getting a 1.2x multiple in a certain business line, they could actually grow to a 1.x multiple. So there's going to be some growth when they integrate new innovation into their business units. And I love what my co-chair always says, Farouz Zamfar, is we make it painful for people to join. And we make it painful by actually charging a premium to come in and be an investor member of the Hong Kong PropTech Association, because we're going to be doing a lot of the work to help your business grow.
I see. So does that investment committee only reserve for professional investors like funds and pension funds and stuff like that?
We open it up to a lot of different types of people who want to join, but one thing, they all have to be a qualified professional investor. They could be a family fund, they could be property developers, asset managers, anybody who wants to get better deal flow in PropTech around the world, they should join our investment membership.
I see. Hi, we'd like to give a big shout out to our venue partner, the Center Space, one of the highest co-working space in Hong Kong and located at the heart of Central.
If you're looking for a service office, virtual office, co-working space, or event space, check out their website on thecenterspace.co or visit them at the center.
Yeah, so I want to know too, right? Because obviously we're here, we believe in this cause, that's why we're both in the committee together. And then in your perspective, right? Why do people need to go into PropTech now, especially in Hong Kong, in your perspective?
Out of any country in the world, I think there's more reason for people in Hong Kong to look at PropTech. We always lead in certain categories, the most notable one being the highest real estate prices in the world. I think it's been a very traditional business. A lot of people sat on their investments and they felt very comfortable, but times are changing these days, right? With a different economic stance, possible trade wars going into the future. I think people have to be sharper in the game. You can't play that game that you played 60 years ago. And I think PropTech is going to be a big part of it.
So how do you envision, how does PropTech will impact the society at large? Like from 3 to 5 years time in Hong Kong for real estate players, PropTech players, how we envision to go mold into?
I think that a lot of the property people, I'm just going to talk about property people, they have a lot of money. And when you start allocating that money to a certain sector, you're going to see changes. So we walk into K11 Museum. The first thing you see is a robot sanitizing the hallways. This is something that you wouldn't envision years ago because people wouldn't spend on that type of technology. Now you're going to see UV lighted elevators. You're going to see AI, VR type machinery that's going to come up and detect who's wearing a mask, who's not wearing a mask. Maybe if there's additional COVID detection within these buildings, they could activate the HVAC system to really get rid of the COVID as fast as possible, air out the space. A lot of people are coming out and they see that maybe things are cracking right now. And in order to stay competitive globally, developing innovation into their businesses makes sense.
I see. So if you have a broadcast, like a microphone right now to tell everyone in Hong Kong around the world, from startup, PropTech, or developers and many more, what would you say to them? What's the message that you want them to hone in?
Don't be afraid of innovation. Embrace it, understand the PropTech stance around the world globally, see which one works for you. I'm talking from a property perspective. They should actually see which PropTech solution works for them, contact them, talk to them. These startups are very eager to meet with people who could fund their business, give them commercial contracts or invest into the teams. Don't be shy. I know it's going to be scary for a lot of the senior managers who were working in a traditional manner, that now they feel we have to go into the new frontier of working with these startups. How do I communicate with young 23-year-old kids? And their valuations are something they're probably not accustomed to seeing. But this is the community. This is the way that you have to embrace for the future. So don't be afraid. That would be my message.
Well, that's a good message. If anything, that's even for me, I want to always have that in my mind. So I know that you're working a lot with Jumpstart and other projects, right? Would you mind share with the audience like what you're working on, what you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the executive chairman of Jumpstart, and we're innovation as a service company. We find information around the world, and what we really love to do is allow our readers, our base, to understand what's happening globally with innovation. Where we have a very exciting project in education, which I think could be a good game changer here in Hong Kong. We're reaching out to secondary school students and doing almost an online mini accelerator for them.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's really interesting. And you know, as we discussed, we have a top secret investment vehicle as well.
Yeah, just let me in a little bit what's going on, and then I'll be happy. I won't tell anyone, I promise.
Yes.
If anything, thanks so much for your time, and it was a pleasure again to talk to you about this.
Darren, thanks for having me, and thanks for the support. And I think what we do at HKPTA is going to pave the way for the future of PropTech in Hong Kong. So thank you.
For sure.
We at Denzity have been working very hard to bring you in-depth experts' opinion from all corners of the industry. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon.